Now, you were speaking to the Express yesterday. You spoke to other people as well about the Giorgia Meloni story, which broke yesterday, which is that Italy, under her prime ministership, has decided it's going to ban the burqa and it's going to ban the niqab rather, and it's going to have a fine of up to £2,600 for anyone flouting the law. You famously asked a question in the House of Commons about this. Let me just play you that and see what Keir Starmer had to say.
Given the Prime Minister's desire to strengthen strategic alignment with our European neighbours, will he, in the interests of public safety, follow the lead of France, Denmark, Belgium and others and ban the burqa?
Yeah, here. Prime Minister.
Can I welcome her to her place? But I'm not going to follow her down that line. But now she is here and safely in her place, perhaps she could tell her new party leader that his latest plan to bet £80 billion of unfunded tax cuts, with no idea how he's going to pay for it, is Liz Truss all over again. Although, considering I think she was a Conservative member when Liz Truss was leader, she probably won't.
I mean, the man is so ludicrous, isn't he? You ask him a perfectly straightforward question, doesn't want to answer it, because he's frightened, he's scared of the Muslim backlash.
Absolutely. I mean, as you can imagine, that question at the time, you know, I got a lot of abuse for that question, but I stand by it and I would ask it again. And I am delighted and fully supportive of Giorgia Meloni, another brave woman, I hasten to add, who's out there trying to protect and stop the suppression of women. Now, clearly, I've always said, and when I asked that question, it was about on different levels. It was about national security. It was about public safety. How are the police, how are counter-terrorism meant to do their jobs when people are walking around our streets head to toe, totally unidentifiable? It is not acceptable. And we know that there are examples of where men have dressed up in the burqa and the niqab to disguise themselves. So that's the first thing. And do you know what? So many times police stop me and say, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for raising these issues. Thank you for being so brave, because it helps us do our job. So that's the first point. And I very quickly widened my point on public safety to all face coverings. So that's the first thing to say. Now, but also, and equally as importantly, is the issue of female suppression. This is a misogynistic garment. If they want to wear it, if men want their women to wear it, if women want to wear it, fine. Go back to your countries where it is acceptable, because it is not acceptable in this country. We are a Christian country. We are fundamentally living by Christian values. We respect other religions, but this is an oppression on our streets. I see it everywhere, particularly when I'm in London. And do you know what happened to me? Only 2 days ago, I was in London, and an Iranian gentleman came up to me, quite a young man, and he introduced himself, and he said, I want to thank you for, this was before Giorgia Meloni came out with this yesterday, he said, I want to thank you for what you said about the burqa. He was from Iran, and he said, we don't want it there. We don't want this burqa. And he said, you're being so brave. And he was thanking me on behalf of women from his culture. But this is a terribly chauvinistic, worse than that, misogynistic garment.
And it's also, it's not traditional. You know, people who say that this is, you know, traditional Islamic, you know, sort of, you know, clothing for women in Islamic nations, it really isn't, because if you look back to Iran back in the 1970s, you know, women are walking around in Iran dressed like you are, you know, having a great time, going out, hanging out, drinking coffee, you know, having drinks in different bars and just having a lovely time. It was as westernised as London used to be. And funnily enough, my daughter, who lives in Dubai, says to me, I don't see any burqas in Dubai. I see more of them when I come to London.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
and
is
look,
weird.
I want to make this important point. I am not trying to change the culture in Saudi Arabia or Iran or anywhere else. I am only interested in public safety in this country and women's rights in this country. And I feel very strongly that if you come and live in this country, as I've said, we're fundamentally a Christian country, you live by our laws. And the other thing that Georgia Maloney said, and I've spoken about, and I support her in this, is when it comes to institutions like schools, colleges, hospitals, how totally intimidating for our children or patients to have to be treated by or taught by anybody in these very, very intimidating facial coverings. It's not acceptable. It is not our culture, and as I say, it should absolutely be banned. I totally stand by that question I asked my first PMQ, and that was about 4 months ago, and I welcome this debate.
And how cowardly of Keir Starmer not to even bother answering it. Speaking of cowardly, let's look at Zach Polanski. This is a guy who's the leader of the Green Party. He's got a bit of a weird past, right? Zia Youssef, your colleague, was on Question Time last night. Check this out.
This is racism, it's fascism, and we should call it out.
Zia.
OK, so what we want to do is deport people on the basis of whether they are legally entitled to be in this country. That has nothing to do with race, ethnicity, nor religion. Now, let's talk. You accused me earlier, let alone fascist. You said that I was peddling disinformation. And I think people watching this programme at home, given the Green Party are right now, to be fair, they're surging in the polls. It's important that people know this. When Zach Polanski is making seductive claims to you, it's important that you understand, before he came into politics, he literally made money by charging women on the promise that he could literally enlarge the size of their breasts by hypnotising them. That is a true statement.
I don't know what to say about that, really. I think he's probably the only politician in the public sphere who's had such a weird job in the past. I mean, he actually admitted it and said, you know, obviously we've all made mistakes. Well, I was talking to somebody last night. Yeah, we've all made mistakes. I don't think I've ever tried to convince a woman that I could hypnotise her into having larger breasts. I mean, it's a bit more than a mistake, isn't it?
Well, I can tell viewers that when we had lunch, mate, you certainly didn't try that one with me.
I didn't.
But yeah, I mean, on a serious point, look, this is supposed to be the leader of a party which, you're right, is surging in the polls, and it's a pro-Palestinian party. Let's make no mistake about that. That is their mandate, to get behind these groups, these prescribed groups, and support them. This is very, very scary stuff, because these people have got a voice. They're brainwashing, and I use that word again, and on purpose, they're brainwashing people in this country with this rhetoric, which is absolute nonsense. And Zia, of all people, coming out last night on Question Time, talking, as he always does, about what reforms stand for, meritocracy. We don't care what colour your skin is. We don't care what your religion is. You can come to this country if you have something to offer this country, and you are not going to be a drain on our resources, and that you're providing something, a skill that we need. So we've always made that very clear. And Zia is a great example of a family that's coming. His parents are in their 70s, you know, and they're still working in the NHS because they want to contribute. We want people like that. But let's make no mistake about the people that are coming over in their hundreds, in their thousands on these boats. That's not what this is about. They come in, they get given, or you know, the free houses, the free clothes, the free mobiles, the free driving lessons at our expense. It's got to stop.
Yeah, absolutely right. Sarah, good to see you.